All right. You see if this is working. The stream is going. My microphone, for some reason, my AirPod's been messed up. Can't fix it. Robotic.
You sound weird.
Yeah. No idea why.
See?
What?
No idea why. Can't fix it.
I've tried. Is it like bad?
What?
Is it like bad? If you can't understand it though?
No, you can understand.
I can't figure out what's up with the microphone. What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm not sure. Alright, well, hopefully the stream is working on X and on YouTube. Everyone could please like and retweet the stream. I'd appreciate it. Let me send it out in Discord. Not going to be on too long. Been a little sick today. Ah, so now I started a few minutes early. So, SPY, interesting. Price action the last few days, right? So we got this gap here that still needs to be filled. So need this gap to still be filled up here. SPY. So that takes it to 570.19. I'm just going to mark that. So mark this. So around that 469.40, 469.10, that 30-cent area right there. That's going to be my supply, my resistance. It starts around that 568.7, but mainly just right up here will be the uh, better spot to look to go short in the initial rejection. But if it does start to break above 569.40, I would say there's a good chance SPY is just going to, as paper would say, accelerate to the upside here and go fill that gap to 570.2. My demand and supports down here, which is going to be 565.60 down to 565. So this is going to be my demand and my support. So um, where is it? Here we go. So SPY comes down here. Initially going to look to take calls off of this area and take it back up to these targets here. The only way I will look to go short on SPY is if it does break under 565, it does a retest of 565, and they flip it to resistance, and then I will target back downside to 564.20, 563.90, and then full target would be 563.40 to 563. So that would most likely be in the 563 puts. And that's one way I'm looking to initially short SPY. My entry would be here, would be point right there. 565 gets flipped from support right here to resistance. But initially we'll look to go long. And that supply again is 565.40. If it does break above that, I do expect SPY to just go fill that gap up to 570.2. Let me get a screenshot of this chart. Let me build a watch list for premium as well on here. 569.4 and 565. All right, after that is QQQ. I already have my spot here. Is that the gap? Where's the gap go down to? The gap partially filled there, goes down to here. So there's a gap to fill to the downside on Qs. So this will be my demand, my support, which is around 478.3 to 479. That's going to be my supply and my resistance here. Be around that 483 to 483.65. And I will target here around 485. Brief target up here with a full target area of here. So initially we'll look to go short off it, hitting the supply and resistance, and then take it back downside here. And then the only way I will look to go long is if it breaks above it, and then it gives a pullback, and then I will take it up here. Coming down to demand, I will look to take it back to the upside. The only way I short it is if it breaks underneath of it, and then retest here, and then I will take it down here. So those are the multiple scenarios for QQQ. But there is that gap to fill to the downside underneath that 478.3. So that'll be interesting because that gap goes all the way down to 476. So over $2 downside move potential on QQQ to quickly fill that gap to the downside. So 483.65 is the big spot upside. 5 downside is going to be 478.30. 478.30. Thank you, Liv. Thank you, Bobby, for reposting the stream. Appreciate you guys. It's gonna be. See if I can check the chat on here. Alright, screenshot of that. Next is IWM. KC Sunday and the KC Chiefs are live also. Yeah, can't figure out what is up with the sound. I don't know if it's my AirPods, OBS, or what it is. It got better the other day when I was live streaming on FOMC when I disconnected my AirPods and I just used the MacBook, so could be something to my AirPods and OBS. This is recorded. Yes, this is recorded. Google. I want Google to reject 164, 165, and then pull back about $4. That way I can get an entry and then take it back up to 170. Sounds fine. Good. 221 to 221.50. Demand support on iDubbbz. I like the 75-cent spot here. Target's upside. Those are my targets downside, so get this chart kind of full here. It's my supply, my resistance. Initially, we'll look to go short off of 222.75 to 223 on IWM. A break and close above 223. I will look to go long to take it to 223.50, 223.86 to 224, and then 224.2 area. This will be my demand. Support 221, 221.50. Breaks and holds under 221. I will take it down to 220.5, 220, and then 219.45. 223, 221. Screenshot this one. Ooh, a little windy. Yeah, I do need some soup, honestly. Let me do Apple first. It's Apple, Microsoft, and Norwegian Cruise Line for the other three. Um, so Apple, go to the daily on Apple, and if you mark, and get it almost exact, mark that high, then mark this high right here, right? Apple went above that trend line, rejected it very, very hard on the daily at 233 and pulled it all the way down to 228 with a nasty red shooting star here at the top. So I'm anticipating maybe a little bit of a pullback on Apple, um, back down to the 225 area, roughly to where the daily 9 and 21 EMA are potentially going to be lining up, which are currently are around 223, 223.4. So it could line up to get around to that 225 area. So potentially looking for a pullback, the 225, and if it loses 225 and goes down to 224.63, there's a gap to fill to the downside to 222.71. So let me mark this, drop it down to like the 1-ish hour here. Go down to the 5 real quick. I think that 220, yeah, 225, 224 area is going to be big, but yeah, Apple was looking. And that happened within 20 minutes. Apple made a new high of day and then made a new low of day directly after. So very, very um, interesting. So it's 233, honestly, and 224. I think Apple can get that pullback down to that area. So this is 227. So that'll probably be my target. Got support around this area right here. So this will be my resistance area up on here, 229.50 to 230, and then take it to those previous levels up there, 231.3, 232, and then 233. If it can break and hold above that 230 psych level. 227 will be my put trigger if it breaks and falls underneath that, but initially testing and holding 227, 227.63, see if buyers step in, hold it up. Um, let me take the demand out, just put the word support, and then take it back up to 229.50 to 230. So 227 and 230, that would be my two big key psychological levels looking at Apple. Microsoft. All right, look at Microsoft. On the larger timeline right here, this is the weekly. Potentially. Potentially. Okay. Head and shoulders. Hear me out. Potentially. You got something right there. You got a little something right here. And you got something potentially going to set up here. So hear me out. Potential weekly head and shoulders on Microsoft. Okay. So if you go to the 1 hour chart on Microsoft, it just broke this trend line on Friday's session. So if it loses 433.6, I'll look for that move down closer to that 430-ish. There's that right here, 430-ish psych level. Target the 200 EMA right now in the 1 hour lines up perfectly with this other level around 427. So, and that's for it to create that right shoulder to come down to that 427. And if it loses 427, I would say 422 is probably going to be the really, really big spot on Microsoft where if it loses 422, 420, that can be the signal that's going to send this thing down. So potentially, that that head and shoulders could be wrong, but definitely something to note. So for me, it's my resistance, which is 441.10. And then around this 433.6 is going to be my support. I think if that 433.6, it starts to get some candle closes below that, it is going to end up going down to that 430 psych level and then 427. Breaks above 441, I would target 445. So you screenshot that. Last but not least, Norwegian Cruise Line. So I sent this chart out a long time ago. I sent this chart right here a long time ago. I alerted on Twitter and in Discord. Um, 17.5 and $18 calls the day this candle here closed around 17.75. Norwegian is now all the way up here for this beautiful daily cup and handle breakout to almost $21. Absolutely amazing. But now it is kind of in a supply zone. You got a lot of resistance up here in this area. And it's just retesting it again. So I'm looking to potentially go short on Norwegian. If you also look at the RSI, yes, I use RSI every now and then. If you look at the RSI here on this daily chart, every time it has reached this supply zone and the RSI has gone over 70 or hit 70, it has gotten a significant pullback back down to around $17 on average is where it ends up going down to and hitting a big key spot, whether it's going to consolidate there or make another big move back upside or downside. So around 17, $18 every time. So potentially, you can screenshot this here, but we got a short potentially setting up here on Norwegian. So let's see, yes, this move down every time. So does it repeat itself? So for me, um, not looking to go long Norwegian whatsoever. Looking to short it under $20 psych level. Um, that is going to be what I look. I can get that freaking level on here. I can't because that daggone thing is. There we go. So this $20 psych level, I think, is going to be the big spot. So looking to short this down to 1950. Honestly, it's like 50 cent and like dollar moves is kind of like some even like seven. It's kind of like IWM. Like every quarter moves like 75, 50, $25. Um, those kind of psychological levels. So I need 20, take it down to 1950, and then take it down to $19. Take it down to 1850, take it down to $18. 17.75 is going to be that to that 18. That would be like a full target area, which is right here. And I would expect it to either get a big like move off of this back up or consolidate for a minute before it makes that next leg down, similar to like right here. So looking to short Norwegian under $20. So calls above nothing. Maybe a put credit spread or a call credit spread on this week too, depending on if it continues to keep cruising or if it does start to get a pullback. So we'll see. I got that screenshot as well. So SPY, QQQ, IWM, Apple, Microsoft, and Norwegian Cruise Line. So mostly excited for Norwegian, honestly. Um, I think that'll be a good one. And Apple, I want to see what happens with that daily candle, that daily red shooting star there at the top after like getting that huge move back up here, putting in that equal high to that resistance is where it rejected at. The high on that one was 232.92. This was 233.09. So I mean, off by 17 cents from that other high. So you'll see this is a key spot on Apple. So if it does break above 233, 233.50, probably, I mean, that can start the next big move up to Apple to go to those previous all time highs. But daily candle looks ugly, very extended from the EMAs. They're about four plus dollars away as of right now. So could see a decent downside move on Apple, come back down to the 225 area, or if it fills that gap down to 223, that would be a kind of where the daily 21 is at right now. So I highly doubt it's going to line up like that in the future, but we'll see. It would be a great spot to eventually go long on Apple if it does give that pullback. Well, between that 223, 225 area. So inverse head and shoulders SMCI daily. Let's take a look. Yeah, I can see that a little bit. Got this little thing going on here. A little consolidation here, potentially. What's going to stop this is this area right here. It's around 492. It needs to break above 492. You can go fill that gap up here. It's consolidating on that daily 9 EMA. If anything, I wouldn't say it's an inverse head and shoulders. I would say it's a cup and handle. Um, just personally, I would articulate this here as your cup, and then this brief area of consolidation right here. I think this is a beautiful cup and handle. So it needs to, and that 21 EMA right there on the daily is lining up with this high right here. It's around like 475. So decent chart here on SMCI. Who was that? Grant? Yeah, nice. I could see this. So if it breaks out of here, see if it can go up, hit that gap area. It rejects it and pulls back down to 475, which is then going to hold above the daily 21 by that point. That's my call entry. Take it back up to the equal high of 492 and then go for that gap fill up here near like that 514 area. I think that can be a decent setup here. The SR flip of that right there would be like my call entry. So yeah, not a bad chart here on SMCI. I'll screenshot this. Make sure I have that noted. AVGO on the daily. Yeah, it looks like a W. It's hitting some resistance here. I mean, I wouldn't be the one to long it up here at this resistance area. 172.50. I mean, there's a beautiful W right here. Yeah, nice W pattern right here. So interesting if it's going to break and then go back up to that equal high up here around like 185, or if it's going to reject it and come back down to 160. So, be very interesting to see. Did you already do SPY? I did. Let me screenshot this real quick. Um, Jesus. If you're in the Discord, if you're in the premium Discord, I'm going to post all of this in just a second. But yeah, my supply and resistance is around that 569, 569.40. Look to go short, break and hold above that, go for the gap fill to 570, 570.2. And the downside, 565.6 down to 565 is going to be my demand and my support. I'll look to go long. If it breaks underneath and does the SR flip of 4 or 565, that would be my put trigger, and then I'll take it down to 564 and then 563. Let me finish up the watch list and the screenshots. Premium real quick. Get that posted. $9.23. All right. So those are the six: SPY, QQ, IWM, Microsoft, Apple, and Norwegian Cruise Line. My favorite two. Um, Obviously, I love trading SPY. It's in a range bound area, so it's going to be perfect for me to scalp. I'll most likely scalp ES, but we'll see if I can get some options trades out there too. Just don't want to get chopped up if it stays in a tight range. Um, but if it gets some nice continuation and good moves, then look to take some option trade on SPY. But top two favorites are Apple, the potential downside, along with Norwegian. Norwegian is probably my favorite chart, hitting um, that supply zone up there. So cup and handle breakout on the daily, call that out perfectly. Take it for 125%, I believe, on the $18 calls, and then 100% on the 17.5s. I think they ran 800%, probably closer to 1,000 now. Um, I think I can't remember the date on them. They had some decent time on them, so it might have been the. I think it might have been the 27th. I can't remember, but now that it's all the way up there in that supply zone, I think it could be risk to reward, good opportunity for a potential short up here. So we'll see with that RSI up here at the same time. So this is my favorite chart that I'll be watching. So along with CCL, don't forget about CCL. So that's it for me, guys. If you're in the Discord, give me about 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna post a watch list and all these charts, and then I'll post the Microsoft chart and the Norwegian Cruise Lines chart on X here within the next hour or so for everybody, and then I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. I think I'm on Wolf Spaces tomorrow morning at 9. And then I'll be on normal spaces with the guys later on. And then for my premium members, I'll be on around 9:15 pre-market, live streaming in the Discord. So I'll catch you guys in the morning. Y'all have a good